Happy to see you back again. So let me share the screen. Okay. So I hope today everyone enjoying the exploration of your heart circle. Everyone go through your own heart circle. I think that everyone found something wonderful, something painful, and everyone have more awareness of oneself and lots of God is revealing lots of things in your who you are and how important you are for God. So this is the last last sector of the heart circle. So we are talking, what is the conflict sector? We talk about here the things that trigger us. So everyone know what's triggering, right? Something trigger us to make some reaction, we can say in short. So also it refers as a trigger button or red button, or maybe you can say a sensitive point that lead us to some reactions, right? Yeah. So reaction means we're coping, right? So if we feel something very sensitive, vulnerable, painful, and we will show it in our coping mechanism, right? So if like, for example, someone being very criticized as a child and has a very low esteem, that person can be very sensitive to little criticism, some simple criticism in daily life, right? So it led him to maybe very strong and big defense, and he got angry and try to defend himself, try to give explanation and protect, maybe try to blame others. So this is the kind of very sensitive things that we, when we listen, we feel not comfortable or feel afraid, shame, or maybe anger, sadness, and lots of things will happen. So we will explain it in next or more, so you will have more idea. So just, I think you also got own opinion and own idea about triggers. So what do you think possible examples of triggers? So please write down on your notes and what you think the trigger can be for you or for other people. So I give you 1 minute to write down.
So what are some trigger points? Just write down in your notes.
God bless you. Okay. So let's go to the next. Some people really very sensitive, like a eggshell. We know how it is very easy to break, right? So some people are quite tough, like a football, even kick hardly, happen nothing, right? So everyone's sensitiveness is different, depend on the person's inner part, right? So more healthy love, truth, and contrast sector, the left 3 sides of the heart, the person's conflict sector is less sensitive, less reactive. So also this conflict sector is a guard of our hearts to prevent hurtful things from entering to our hearts. So we can say this is the conflict sector is the heart entering door to heart circle. If I say, yeah, you will be more clear, right? So Froberg says we have to guard our heart to from things that entering our heart to make our heart more painful. So please remember, a conflict sector is the entering door to our heart circle. I put here Caroline's names wrong. Sorry, I spelled it wrong. Dr. Caroline said it's the a door to heart circle, and people come because of conflict. People come to counselor. People come to help. People help when they have the conflict sector has triggered. Then they will look for help for people. So why we need to understand the conflict sector? Because someone is very sensitive, and if they react very defensive way, it's for us have to also it impacts to us. You know, for example, if someone come and talk, maybe we ask some certain question they got wrong, and really they react very intensively, then it will also impact to us. So we need to know what is triggering them and why the person reacting this way. That's why we need to understand what's the conflict sector is. So just now I mentioned about reaction, right? I think also Sharon shared a lot about reaction. So why we need to understand our triggers is for personally, we need to apply it to ourselves first to understand what is my sensitive point. For example, like someone telling me like, you can do anything, I feel really abandoned. So if I know this is my weakness, this is my sensitive point, this is my trigger, and I will maybe I stop myself to reacting in unhealthy way, then I can be more proactive, like telling myself, this is that person triggered me, that word triggered me. So I know this is my sensitive point, and I don't have to react this way. That person might be telling me in different way, you know. So this is the reaction in reacting proactive. So if we are really can be proactive, so we can decouple in healthy way. That's why we need to understand what is our triggers. So also it helps us to understand others with empathy. Once you know the other person's triggers, and when they triggered and they act in strange way, you know, you can have some empathy that is his trigger and that's his sensitiveness. So he is reacting this way. It's also very helpful for us to understand that. So I would like to share about this. Maybe some of you know Dr. Daniel Siegel's demonstration of how our brain working during when we triggered. So let's say this is the like spinal cord and brainstem. Here is all the things we do automatically. It calls a reflex, you know, so like breathing, you know, blinking our eyes, something heart beating, some actions in our body that we cannot control will be controlled by our brainstem. So let's say the finger is our amygdala. Also, maybe we could say in short, midbrain, which controls all the emotion. Okay, so it also contains hippocampus. It's the memory, our memory. Every memory keep inside here. So this is our frontal cortex, that the frontal part do things consciously. And it helps us to organize things, plan things, and find a conclusion, and evaluating things, whether it's good or not. All these things, conscious things we do from controlled by our prefrontal cortex, okay? So usually when we do something consciously and everything under control, our brain is like this. So when we, disconnect our smart brain, when hippocampus tells us something bad memory. For example, I have, attacked by dog and beaten by dog. I'm really scared of dog. So if I see the dog, my hippocampus reminds me that the dog is dangerous. So my amygdala starts to give alarm. It's dangerous, danger, danger. So hypothalamus, which controls every hormones in our body, gives command to release some adrenaline and cortisol, etc. Those helps us to survive. So everything become under the reflex. Automatically we fight, automatically we flight, run away. Sometimes maybe some people experience that, something very sudden, dangerous thing happen. We do something unconsciously and amazingly, like jumping very high fence, running away from dog, maybe fight with very huge man, all those things we do automatically. So God helps us to survive in danger. So give us this brainstem to survive in dangerous thing. So if we keep having alarm from amygdala, it's dangerous, it's stressful, it's very, worrying, keep worrying, and our body keep releasing adrenaline and cortisol. So it, disconnects us from smart brain. So we notice usually sometimes we driving a car and, if you're worrying about something else and have so much stress, sometimes we just not paying attention, and suddenly very red lights are on, then we suddenly press the brake very hardly. So such things we just letting us to be under our emotional brain control. So we we disconnect from the prefrontal part of our brain only 30 millisecond. Okay, am I saying right or not? Sorry, I'm teaching in English first time, so I hope everyone will forgive me. 30 millisecond, but when the smart brain connects with the brain, requires 250 milliseconds. So we need to have a pause when we have a reaction. We need to have a pause. So we know about Jesus. All the Pharisees brought the woman Mary to Jesus because they caught her, on the action, and they wanted to throw a stone and kill her, right? Do you remember, everyone, the story from Bible? So what Jesus said to them? Do you remember, anyone?
Those who have sinned from the first stone.
Yes, Jesus sat down and draw something on their ground, right? So everybody thinking what he wrote there, what he drew there. But Jesus knows human beings, and he knows all the Pharisees need to have a pause to calm down. And after they calm down, all the brain become normal working. He's asked. So throw stone. First, someone think himself is not sinful. Throw the stone first. Remember? I think you understand what I'm saying. So everyone go one by one, and no one throws stone to her. So this is the how our brain need a break in during this time. So I hope you guys understand when the conflict triggered us, we our coping mechanism works in automatically, usually out of our control. Okay, so
Shasha, may I ask, did you guys understand about the whole thing? So, okay, so this part is really hard for you to see the words. So this parts and here represents hippocampus and amygdala, which is a part of a brain that is like an automatic response, like all of a sudden emotional brain, like you don't have to think. It just, you react right away, right? So that represents that. So whenever we have like an emergency situation or a situation where we need to react, God made us so that we could react quickly like that. But then this part represents prefrontal cortex, which is our front brain, which is a thinking brain. So our thinking brain is when we are able to really think. It's like this. We're working together with the emotional brain and thinking brain, right? And then thinking brain actually takes little longer time for us to really think about it and react. So that's what she is saying, that sometimes we need to pause. You know what I mean by pause, like stop, in order for us to be able to react rightly to the conflict. Is that right, Shasha?
yes.
Okay.
Thank you for helping me. Sorry for my language. So I will try to my best, and I try to improve my English when I meet you in the second part of this training. So yeah, why we need to pause. So how we can pause? Only we know what is our trigger, what's our sensitive point. So if you recognize this is your trigger, then it helps you to get the pause, instead of reacting unhealthy way. So this is the main message of the conflict sector. So Jenny, do I have to continue or we have break?
We have a break.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have a break time right now. So do you have more things, or can you stop?
No, I just exactly prepared for 15 minutes, so it's done.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shasha. That was very helpful.
Thank you.